John Lynch said he said this to Cam Inman. I feel we've studied him forever. Back when he was a potential number one pick, and we were looking for trade options, he kind of was craving what we could provide, a really cool structure on offense that's tailor-made for his skill set. That's what he bought into. Okay, so that tells me kind of what you said, that Sam Darnold believes that the reason he wasn't able to have success has a lot to do with the players who were around him. And the way that the NFL works is if you are perceived as a failure, you kind of go into this bucket of free agency and you have to eat your pride a little bit and take a 1-year deal, but you could essentially pick your team. It's like the reverse of a draft, right? Sam Darnold going into the NFL draft as a high pick, he's going to one of the worst teams, but because he kind of washed out and teams look at him that way, it's the reverse draft. He gets to kind of go to wherever he wants and if they want him. So that tells me that he believes that a lot of the failures were because either organizational or because of the talent surrounding him. And he believes in himself. Ultimately, you got to believe in yourself to play this position in the NFL. So what do you think about Lynch's statement?
I think it's 100% spot on. What heartens me is anytime, again, I don't want it to sound like I am shading Brock at all, because the kid is what he is, and he's great, and that was a great pick, and I think he's going to be a 49er and a contributor to this team for a long time. But anytime I hear Kyle and Lynch talk about the tools to run this offense, you look at him, you look at Trey, because again, even if Trey washes out, that my hope overall is that even if it doesn't work out with Trey, that they don't punt on that type of player, the big arm, the mobile guy, the guy who can give you 1,000 yards rushing. Which again, that's just not Brock's game. But I mean, he was drafted the last pick in the draft, so I mean, what he get, if he doesn't do anything else, that was a hugely successful pick at to give us what he gave us in that stretch last year from 262. If he's never played again, that was a successful draft.
He's one of the most valuable rookies to the season last year.
And, yeah. So that's great, but he does not fit the mold of a Trey Lance or a Sam Darnold in terms of his talent, his arm talent, his mobility, those type of things. And I am just a firm believer, with all the things that I looked at and studied last year, 2 years ago, and then last year in preparation for Trey, that those guys with big arms and mobility just unlock this offense in a way that a guy like Jimmy, or to a greater extent, Brock, brings more to it than a guy like Jimmy does. But even still, there is a level 2 or 3 levels above that Trey and a guy like Darnold brings in terms of the arm talent, being able to get to anywhere, to that from the right hash to the back end zone of the left pylon. Trey and Darnold have the arm strength to get to those places in a way that guys like Brock and Jimmy, that guys like hell, that like most people on the planet can't. Those throws are, there are very few people on earth who can make those throws, and Darnold and Trey are one of them, are some of them. And then guys who, in an RPO play action heavy offense, guys that backside defender. I've said it before so many times. There were times Jimmy would hand that ball off and do that fake, and that backside defender would be all in the middle of the defense. And it's like, man, if Jimmy could just hold that bitch, and he's got 25 yards. But he didn't, because the defense knew that wasn't that wasn't in the cards. If Jimmy takes it 25 yards on us, that's just a whole other conversation. But guys like Darnold and Trey have that ability to keep that backside defender honest. He has to honor his athleticism, because he will be the butt of film study jokes on Tuesday if he cheats and gives up that big play. So that's just structurally, it's heartening to me to hear Lynch talk about the fact that that's why he is here, is because he fits the mold of what they believe a 49er quarterback is. And if that is what we believe a 49er quarterback is a big arm and mobile guy, then I think in the long term, whoever the quarterback is, that's what's more concerning to me, is just systematically what we believe the quarterback needs to be. And it sounds like that's what the Niners believe it is what, moving forward, they are in tune with what the trend is league wide. So that is the most important thing to me. So regardless of who it is, as long as organizationally we are of that mind that if Darnold signs somewhere else or Trey washes out, that the guys that who are going to come next are going to be in that mold, that we aren't going safe and trying to McCorkle Jones it or Jimmy G it anymore. That we're gonna be looking for guys with big arms and mobility, and as long as we're doing that, I'm happy.